Okay, folks, going to begin a wee waterfall one here. So I've got all my gizmos out here, and that's lamp black. What type of blue is that? Ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, titanium white, oxide red, transparent oxide red, raw umber, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium red medium, phthalo green, some liquid fine detail, and some mineral spirits. Okay, which I'm going to be using. Now I'm just going to put down a preliminary drawing. Just give me a little second here to orient myself. Right, let me see where we are. Okay. Now, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of a waterfallish type thing here. Oh, straight away my phone is gone. Hopefully that tune doesn't give me a strike, but anyway, there we go. Just along here now. Let me see, have a wee bit of a fall here. Come along here. Make it nice and narrow at the top, spreading out a touch. And down to around about here. Okay, and this will all be kind of rocks and what have you, and just along here some grasses, and then some trees up in here. Some trees up in here, and then trees off in the distance, and then a distant hill line, and then a wee tree up in here. Just your normal stuff. Now, I can see it. Obviously, you can't at the minute. So, let's lay down. We'll lay down a load of darks here. Nice and rough. Not going to be too careful with them. So, some ultramarine blue. There we go. Mixed in with that, with this raw umber. And a little bit of red. Just to give it just a little touch of heat there. Hi folks, just a wee quick announcement. I've started one of those new member thingy-majigs, and I would really appreciate your support. It helps the channel and it helps me. Just click the wee join button below the video. It's only a couple of quid a month. Anyway, thanks folks, it's very much appreciated. And now let's get back to it. Little tiny bit of spurts just to loosen it up, and then let's create some darker areas here. There's one there. Okay. And let me see here. There's another one along there. I'll use that as a rock edge, maybe. We'll see. And let me see. Coming down here, I'll have a bit of a rock along here. Nice and dark, folks. And then just the odd rock here and there. The darkness for the rock. Now I'm going to do a little bit of green, a little bit of a cool green, so it's some phthalo in it. Some cerulean, but still pretty dark, and it's cool. Just up here. Okay. Now we're going off into the distance for these ones in the back here, so everything's going to be a little bit brighter. But first, before I do, just going to stick a little one over here, just. Alright. Okay, now. And let's go into these lighter ones off in the back here. Bluish. With a little bit of white in it, and some I'm going to put in a little bit of what do you call that again? Liquid fine detail. I don't want them too bright, but I do want them cold. Just along there, as a bit of an idea that they're moving backward. Now, I'm going to use a different brush to give me the idea of the background here. And see a little bit of blue, tiniest bit of red. Just give me that violet-y blue. Now let's go real grey on it. Raw umber. Now also a yellow really helps knock out a violet. Okay. A little bit more. Now, lots of white. And help grey this out a touch. Okay, let me see a little bit of fine detail. And just pop. I think No, that is way too saturated. Way too saturated. A little bit of brown there, a little bit of raw umber, a tiny bit of black as well. Yeah, just too saturated, folks. Way too saturated. Let me see what that's like up in here. Still a bit too saturated. It's a bit of a violet blue, so I'm going to put a bit of yellow in it to help bring that back. Let me see. A little bit of phthalo in it as well. It can really grey out oh, that's better. Yeah, that's a little bit better, all right. So it is. That's not bad now. Okay. It'll all come into place whenever it'll come into place whenever I'm working on it and adding the detail to it. So a little bit of a darker thing going on here, a little bit darker than that. So I'm using some lamp black here to achieve this, a little bit of the phthalo green, and just painting some distance here. That's all. Painting of a little bit of distance. Okay, very nice, very nice, very nice. Let's work on the sky now. So I'm going to use a different brush to do that. Now the sky is just a much brighter version of what we have here. That's all. Of a grey. Put a little bit of green in it. Just a touch. Now look at that. Lovely. A little bit of more liquid just to help loosen that up a touch. And just wiggling that brush around. Don't want anything to be too straight, too unnatural. Alright. Now, I'm just going to use this actually to lighten this up a bit. Let me see. Not so bad. Not so bad. Could be worse, all right? This is negative painting here, just going around the edges here just to create some shapes for now. So now that I have this grey down here, I'm just going to, this grey blue, I'm just going to place it here and there over the rocks. Like, let me see, where would be good? Might as well, I mean, it's sitting here. So it is, let me see, a nice one along here, a bit too dark, methinks. I will sharpen the edges up whenever I get the chance. So what I'm doing now is I'm just changing up the tones all over the place, best as I can. Changing up the tones, changing up the look of it. There's lots of rocks that have a bit of pink in them, you know. So just going to chuck one in here and there. You see here now. Just bring this down here. Big rock along there. Look at that. Wonderful. Now let's go to the front here. Let me see, just along there. Create the idea of a rock. And as I always say, everything, absolutely everything, is subject to change. Bouncing it around, trying to give it some life, you know? All right, okay, I don't want to get too panicky at the minute. So let's get in some of the grasses along here and around here. And let me see. I'm not done there yet, actually. I think I'll just talking out loud. Folks, just talking out loud. Okay. Just darker patches. And along here too, just dark patches. Get the idea that grasses are growing in between them and what have you. Okay. Very good. Okay. Now a row of rocks. Let's get some green into it. Now, I've already got the phthalo here, so I'm just going to add some cadmium to it. Now the phthalo is pretty grey, and the phthalo that I have here, I will say, is pretty grey. Okay, let me, in case there's any confusion there, what I mean is, the phthalo itself, I mixed it into a grey. In case there's any confusion there, just I could hear myself saying it and even wondering myself what I was saying. And look at the way my brush is moving, just up and down, creating jaggedy edges and working it in between here and there and there and here, coming along the top here and just. All right, okay, not bad, no, not bad. So, getting two brushes on the go here. If I can find the other one. Oh, we're not at the miniato. Where did I put that? Let me see. No. Too rough, maybe. So I'm just after a bit of darkness that I plant here and there and some heat in it. Like so. Okay. Now. Very good. I can work the water into that now, so I can. bouncing that brush around, creating the idea that there's a lot of texture, a lot of texture. Okay, very good. Happy enough at the minute. Happy enough at the minute. Well, let me get some darks in here. And maybe use a knife in a moment or two. All right. A nice green grey for the base here. Let me see, where is that brush? All right, that'll do. Okay, okay. Almost like a greeny, rocky color, you know. Put a bit of red in it just to help grey it out as well. There we go. I see. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. I'm coming around these rocks here, and I do want to be a bit careful with them. I don't want to be too rough. I'm just slowing myself down a bit here. That's nice. That's not bad now. So I'm going to get a knife here. I'm going to try something. See if this works or not. I'm going to put in a bit of a different colored rock here. More of a clay looking rock. Using the green to grey out that red. Existing green on the palette. Maybe still a bit too, no, that's better. I was going to say it's a bit too saturated. Let's see where we are here. Scraping a piece off with the knife, and then I'm just going to rip it on. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Happy enough with that. Getting a bit of kitchen roll. And I'm going to create some edges. Some sharp edges here. There. And here. Just creating the way rocks have their very sharp edges. Probably a bit darker than what I have here for certain areas. You see, just up here. Okay. All right, okay. I'm sorry if there's any rustling from the kitchen roll, but it is there. Okay, and just the odd bit here and there to help create the illusion for now. And then I will, of course, come back in and tidy it all up. Now, excuse me. I'm going to start darkening some areas. Right, so some black. Oh, I don't want to mix it in with that white at the minute. And some yellow and some phthalo, keeping this blue, but bright enough for you to see. But at the same time, I forgot what I was doing there, folks. I meant to be, I was thinking of putting the highlights in here, but I'm putting the shadows in here. Putting the darker areas in. So, ignore what I just said. All I did there was put in a little bit of darks, and I'll be doing the same over here. Just re-darkening the dark, as it were. Not bad now, a bit better. Not bad. Let me see here. Get this green going. This wee tree up here. Alright. Now the same over here. Just adding in a little bit of highlight just for the time being. I will mess this around in a wee touch later. I don't want to do too much over here. I don't mind this as it is. I do want that grass a good bit better, a good bit better, a good bit brighter. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a little bit brighter and grass-like. So some cadmium yellow, some liquid detail, and let me see if that's bright enough. No, it's not. But I'm going to use this here to brighten it rather than... Well, let me see. Not bad, bit better. Dancing that around, creating the idea of texture. Excuse me. Nice sharp brush here, just to create another rock here and there. Coming out of the grasses. Alright, okay. For the time being, right, what we'll do here, excuse me for a moment. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in the white, and then I'm going to leave this one to dry, so that I can properly add in some good detail. Right, so the reason I'm adding in the white now is so that it will be nice and dry by the time I'm done, by the time I come back, sorry. Which will probably be tomorrow or the day before. So I'm not going to go full on white here. Oh, excuse me. I'm not going to go full on white here. Just a bit. A bit of a greyish colour, so that I can give it some highlights you know. I'm not going to put in too much spray at the minute. I'll wait till that spray is I'll have a better joy putting that spray in when the whole thing is dry. Now I'm just brightening the whole area here, just where I want it to be brightened. Okay. Now, there are some areas that I need to be darkened as well. I want this stretching across more here, as if it's under the water. Okay. And I will rockify that soon enough. Let me see. Okay. Right. I'm down here, a little bit of a darker thing down in here. Just let that work into the water, as if the water is covering it up a little bit. But we're not quite there yet. So let me just no, there's still a bit to do here, just before we go any further. It's covering up the bits of the canvas that we can still see here. Okay, not bad, not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, even if I say so myself. No, just these trees are a little bit throwing me. Ooh, I'm going to fix them. I think that's a bit too dark. A bit more blue in it. Just to sell the idea that it's off in the distance. Okay, a little bit more here. Not too bad now. Okay. Now I'm going to soften a little bit of this up, just in areas that I'm going to start with the brighter area first, just remove some of that, the markings on that, and then let's move into these areas here, just a little touch. Very good, soften that up. Right, let me have a wee look at this. What do I think? It's, getting there. I think just for my own sake, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to bring the rocks down a little bit further, because it'll make the spray look better if I bring these rocks down into here. They're actually beginning to look like spray already. And I'm not going to be doing that quite just yet, but while I'm here, I'm not going to be putting in the spray just yet, but I am able to shape it at the minute. So and that's what I'm going to do. And the water is needs to be taken care of. Well, let's do that then. There now. You can see there's an idea of the tree just behind, just in front of this here, way off in the distance. That's not bad. I'm not happy. I was going to say it's not bad, but I'm not happy with it. So what I'm going to do, I'll slightly lighten this area up in here. Okay, a bit better. Bit better. And let me see if I can get this to do what I want it to do. Bit of a bluey green tree off in the distance. Here's hoping that it comes off. Let me see. Redden that out. What do you think? That's not bad. That's better. Happier with that. Yes. Excuse me. Okay, now. That's going to give myself some sharp edges here. Here and there. For the time being. Okay. Now the water. And I think that will be kind of it until I get it to dry. Oh, excuse me. That was my phone there, folks. So let me just have a wee look to see what I'm doing, what I'm up to. And what was I doing there? What was I? I was going to do something. And I can't mind it. Now, let's pretend that I know what I'm doing, eh? Let's see, I just want some dark here. Just place it here and there, just for funs and giggles for the time being. Okay, nah, I don't like that. Or going and messed it up, didn't I? You know, probably would be best, which I'm going to actually, probably would be just best leaving this to dry now. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it to dry. Not much I want to do at this stage. There are a few things just before I move on is all. Just a few, the odd thing here and there just for balance purposes is all. And see. Let me see. Okay. No, I think that might do it for the time being. Okay, I'll leave that for now. And I will see you all. These are just reminders. Put in tree trunks. And I'll see you all when I come back to finish it. So, bye for now. Okay, folks. Now, back to this one. So, let me see. Let me just get a bit of a paint mixture going on here. Get this. I'm going to work in this area around here for the time being. Okay, let's see where we is. Let's get a nice greyish. Oh, already. I need to put paint out. But I've only just begun, so let's see here. A nice greyish pink is what I'm after here. Bluish greyish pink. I'm just going to scrape this on this bit of a rock here and see where we are. Probably a bit brighter. Probably a bit brighter. A little bit of blue in it just to help cool it off a little touch. And this is to give myself a bit of a wet look over here. Okay, very good, very good. Just going for a bit of a little bit of moisture on these rocks is all. Here and there, just to give the impression that some of this mist is hitting them. Now this painting here is completely dry. It is completely dry. All right, that's a bit better. Not too unhappy with that, I must say. A little bit over here, maybe a bit brighter, maybe a bit bluer over on this other side. I'm trying to create a little bit of a wet look on these rocks. A little bit of ultramarine blue I'm putting in here. I've already got some of this black down. And I'm just playing here, folks. I'm trying to talk at the same time. Let me see. It's okay. It's not bad. That's okay. That's all right. Thought I had gone a bit too far there, but no, it's fine. Nice sharpness up here now. Proper sharp edge here. All right. Just for a bit of a tone, bit of a color change, a bit of a tonal change here. Something on this side. A little bit of blue to that red. We'll help grey it out a touch. Just a touch. Very good. Nice. This is the detailed part of everything. Just scraping it on, folks. This is a dry paint. I'm just scraping it on, and it's leaving a lot of texture behind. That's all that's happening here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the darker areas just for the moment. Right, a little bit of lamp black. I'll get a little bit of black out if I can find it. Where's my black? Oh, there. Oh, well, I need to go and get myself some black. I'm running out of it. Now, so some black here. A little bit of ultramarine blue. Get it nice and cold. A little bit of cerulean. Keeping it cold. And a little bit of, what do you call that again? Liquid fine detail. Just for the viscosity. Just messing up these edges here. And not to create anything too sharp, trying not to create anything too, what's the word focus on that I'm looking for? And not to create anything too uniformed. All the same stuff, you know? All right, down in here. Very nice, very good. Coming along a treat. Now, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of a green color here. Now I've got a good grey brown here. I'm going to take some of this phthalo, not much, just a little bit of the phthalo and just a little bit of yellow. And just taking some of this red. Really want a grey red because we're going off into the distance here. And I'm going to take a good bit of this sky as well. Maybe a little bit more yellow. And let me see. Yeah, it's maybe a bit too bright. There we go, just creating some texture in that grass. That's all right, nice, so it is. Indeed it is. Now, along here. Nice sharp edge along that rock. flatten it off a touch. And a little bit along here. Look at that. Lovely. Now over on this side here, it's going to be darker. We're right in the area in here. It's going to have be a little touch darker, but probably a bit brighter than that. You still got to see it. Yes, look at that. Okay. And we're getting there. So now I'm going to do a slightly darker green just to create some divots here and there. Look at that. And I'm just taking a moment to myself. Here, let me see. A little bit brighter. A little touch. If a little bit of life is just popping up in this area here. You know, just along here. Very nice. Now let's work in this beast over here. So a bit of a cool green. So ultramarine, a little bit of cerulean. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Maybe too bright? No, that's fine. Yeah, it is a bit too bright, yes. A little bit of lamp black just to bring it back a touch. And this is just up in here. Look at that. No need for it to be too panicky. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get myself a really nice little fine brush. I can find one. I think what I'll do is I will pause the video and I'll look for, because I have a feeling it's going to be hard to find one. So we're going to pause the video and I'll be back in a secondo. Okay, now that didn't take too long. It didn't. Just wanted to find a brush for some trees here. Up in the distance. Some slightly white tree trunks, as you've already marked for them. That's too much on the brush. Very good. Happy enough now. That's not so bad. Just a nice layer. Was a bit much on the brush. Hands are a bit shaky today. Okay. So I'm going to lay down the white of the water here. Now it's not entirely white. There's a bit of a green tinge in it. This is what I'm after anyway. But just a tinge, nothing more. And I've already got too much of it out. But it's okay. So let me just see. Using a really soft brush here. Now let me see. A little bit of blue. Yeah, it's a bit better. It's a nice soft brush here, and just want to create this water's edge here. First of all, just creating it and putting it in. And then I'll come along very shortly and start spreading it out with a bit of a drier brush. Yeah, okay, now Just being cautious as to where I want to lay this down. I don't want to cover up too much so I doesn't. Just laying it down for the time being. Now along here, just being a bit more sporadic along here, just all over the place. Trying not to completely cover this area up here. Okay. Now, I'm going to wipe a little bit of this off the brush. And it's not an entirely dry brush, but it's pretty close. I'm just going to put in some of the spray along here. See how that works now. Now on this side, I'll have the spray falling down with a touch, and out here and whatnot. Okay, that's not so bad now. What do I think here? Let me see. Just need to. Okay, I want to kind of cover the corner of this up a touch, so that you can just see it peeking through there. You see that? Yeah, it's actually worked. So it has. Up along there. That's the basis. That's not worked out okay. What I might do is extend this one though. Let me see. I just extend this out a little touch here. Bit too dark, maybe. Let me see. All right. Okay. Now, what do I think as far as being done is concerned? This area up here is a bit blank, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and fix it. A little bit of put a tree or something in here. I'm just thinking that it seemed a little bit blank. So, just wanted to give it a bit of life up in here. I did. I didn't. This is all but a dry brush here, so it is all but dry. Yes. Getting a few branches and whatnot here and there. Okay. I have to admit that quickly changed from quite a rough painting into it is still a rough painting, and I could really keep going and keep going and keep going. But I'm happy with it at the minute for it being just a quick painting. That's a bit too dark. Just a bit dark. I mean, I don't know, 40 minutes, 50 minutes or something for this. So your level of detail or it depends on what you want to achieve here. You could just keep going and keep going. So you could. Forever and ever until it's all detailed. But if you're after a bit of a rough painting, this is the job here. So it is. This is good. We're nearly there now. Just kind of the odd thing here and there, just to create some believability, as it were. Rocks here and there and there and here. You know what? I'm happy with that. Yeah, okay. Let me just check this over here. Just get rid of the base of these trees a little bit there. Yeah. Okay. Right, folks, that'll do it. Right, I think I'm finished here. I'll maybe come back on this one and check for the details a little bit later. But for the time being, that'll do it. And I'll see you all in the next one. So, oh yeah, by the way, I have set up one of those little membership things. If you could become a member, that would be great crack. And I'll see you all in the next one. So, bye for now.